They are the men and women we count on to help us during those scary moments in our lives. But the real question is, when firefighters need help during their tough times, who's there for them? When Milwaukee firefighter Joe Flick realized that some of his fellow first responders were suffering in silence, he answered that call.
I could have never imagined that I'd be sitting here at 35 years old with the life that I have because of being able to become a firefighter.
He's exactly positively Milwaukee. He's the most positive person on his job.
Cares a ton about the department and what he does.
Truthfully, firefighters want to be proactive, and Joe did the proactive step of starting something.
Ignite the Spirit is actually, we work to support firefighters and their families in times of need. I take what we do very personally. In 2006, I was stationed on Brady Street at Engine 6. And it was a weekend, I was off, thankfully. But I had a little brother at the time that had an accident down off of Farwell. He passed away that night. My crew, my guys that worked, were the ones that handled that call. Like, I still think of that. Yeah. That was one of the first times that I got to see kind of how people would rally around you when you needed it. In 2017, we were about to lose one of our firefighters to her battle with cancer.
Lieutenant Kristen Saganek. She died from cancer that was caused by things that we come in contact with every day.
There were a ton of firefighters helping, but there's only so many firefighters. Like, those resources eventually run out. It'd be great if there was some sort of a formal, ongoing, proactive fundraising that we can do to help.
That's where it all started from.
If one of us went down or one of us needed help, to know that there's an organization like that that's gonna make sure that we're all taken care of, that's love.
The fundraising, the parties that we do, the events that we do, they're all fun, right? But the back end of that is you're gonna go meet a family that's in the middle of something heavy that it's not fun to be around.
We're bad at asking for help because it shows weakness. And I was there. 19 years here in the city and 22 years total, things built up, and I wouldn't ask for help, and I wouldn't ask for help. I mean, I felt like I was at the lowest point of my life. I got to the point last year where there were numerous times where I had either opened the drawer and looked at my 9mm that was sitting there, and a few times where I had actually put it to my head and thought about pulling the trigger. And it came to the point where it was time for me to go get help. It was very last minute, and the plane ticket was going to cost close to $800 to go out and get me help. That's where Joe and Ignite the Spirit stepped in, and they paid for not only my plane ticket to go out there, but for one of our peer support members to fly out with me. If I hadn't gone there, I probably wouldn't be around. I mean, that place saved my life. And they helped me get there.
I think it was probably 6 months or so was when we realized that Tony was going to be hurting in a bad way.
Going on about 5.5, 6 years ago, my wife was first diagnosed with cervical cancer. And then she was clear for about a year. And then it had metastasized or grew to her lungs.
My crew and I were working on Christmas, and I remember getting the phone call from Tony's dad. And it just sucked the life out of the entire day, of all days. It's got to be on Christmas. It was probably about a month went by before we were able to host the benefit.
I tried to help with the mounting medical bills that were coming.
I think the final number, after all was said and done, was a little over $30,000.
That was a big event for us.
Effectively wiped out their medical debts that they had left over from the last couple of years.
It was phenomenal. And the biggest thing about that was that I was able to bring my boys and show them, you're not doing this alone. You have all these people behind you. I don't really know where myself or my family would be if it wasn't just for the individuals and Ignite and Joe and people involved in it.
Having Ignite the Spirit in the City of Milwaukee Fire Department, everyone says is probably one of the greatest things that we've done as a department. and especially Joel taking charge that we've done in a very, very long time.
He's really taken this organization and has this passion for it that it's amazing.
At the end, you remember the people that were there for you, and you remember the impact that it made. As this grows, I hope that it gives people a chance to interact with their firefighters more, to learn more about our fire department, the people who work for it, the jobs that we do, the different types of things that we face every day, day in and day out. I think we're going to help a lot more people along the way. There's not enough Kleenex at my table. It's not warned. All right. Hello. First off, I'd like to thank Ms. Carol Meekins and Tmj4 for hosting Positively Milwaukee. As I've heard everybody's stories kind of before we came in, it truly is an honor to sit in this room among so many outstanding and inspiring human beings. I do not hide that Ignite the Spirit is a young organization. However, in our 2 years of existence, we've been able to support over a dozen families and have donated over $55,000 to those needing it most. This type of impact does not happen on accident. I'm pretty bad at accepting awards, so I'd like to accept this one on behalf of anybody that's helped us get to where we are as fast as we've gotten there. My executive board members, all the support they've given, any one of our supporters, all of our volunteers, and the numerous families that have provided us with an opportunity to do what we say we're working to do. Thank you to each one of them. I'd like to especially thank my amazing wife, Karen. This takes me out of the house more than I'll admit, and she picks up the slack behind me with our 2 little ones, and thank you for that. As a Milwaukee firefighter, I try to make a difference and do a great job in everything that I take on. Most of the time, people's lives depend on it. However, as you can imagine, in our line of work, there's not a lot of awards, a lot of accolades, so when we do get them, they're not that easy to accept. When we are recognized, it's usually just a product of us showing up, doing our job, and trying to do it to the best of our ability. In fact, anytime you talk to one of us, they'll just say, "This is our job." So while I'm incredibly humbled and grateful for receiving this award tonight, I'm even more grateful for the opportunity to share Ignite the Spirit Milwaukee with each of you. A couple months back, I watched one of our senior firefighters retire. And if you ever get to see a firefighter walk out of the firehouse for the last time, it's pretty cool. Big ladder trucks out front, aerials up, giant flag hanging down. Firefighter's family comes in for dinner, and there's a speech and a little send-off. When this firefighter gave his speech, he put in over 25 years, and the very first thing he spoke about were the things that he would miss. The first thing he mentioned was he was going to miss the feeling they got every time they rushed out the door in the middle of the night to help. The adrenaline, the sense of pride that he felt doing his job, and knowing that he was going to do a good job and everything was going to be okay and he was going to be safe because of his brothers and sisters next to him. That's exactly what Ignite the Spirit Milwaukee is. Brothers and sisters helping their own and inviting the community in to help. When a firefighter or their family is suffering through the unspeakable, they don't always know that everything's going to be okay. I can't always promise them that it's going to be okay, but I can promise them that we're going to keep working to build Ignite the Spirit Milwaukee so that when they do need a hand, we're going to be there immediately. Again, thank you.